All right, well, we're making progress, as the Canadians say. The heads are on. All the springs are obviously set. Rockers, push rods back on. Valve lash is set. And we are going to drop the intake on now. And then we're going to work on water pump, fuel pump. And I think that's all I'm going to do tonight. So let's grab our black RTV. This is what I like, the ultra black. By the way, these Felpro gaskets, they are the steel line. And you can only get them in a kit. You can't just order them separate. And that kit number is right here, MS98000T, intake manifold gasket set. That's the only way you can get these rubber ones with the steel inserts. Unfortunately, it's too bad that you couldn't just order them, you know, the way they are. But anyhow, make sure you got plenty of silicone in your corners, and run you a decent little bead here. I'm gonna make this bead just a little bit thicker based on the fact that these rubber gaskets are thick, and they might be a little thicker than your standard plastics, if you will. So we'll put all the schmooze on here. Throw away them rubber deals that they give you with these kits. Don't bother with them. Also, don't fill your oil pressure sensor port with RTV. Just so you know. I'm sure most of you guys watching this are smart enough not to, but don't want to do that. All right. We're going to let that set up for just a minute or three. You can kind of see how I ran the bead. Make sure you get it in the corners over here. Yeah. I will be back when we go to set the intake. All right, let's stuff this baby on. Pay close attention when you put these on. Try not to move them around a bunch after you set them. Kind of walk around, give her the hairy one eye. Make sure everything looks happy. I don't want all that inside that distributor hole, so we're going to wipe some of that out of the inside. And there you go. Also pay attention. Make sure your thermostat housing's in the front. Because if you're really smart like I am, you'll put it on backwards and then wonder why your oil part in the back looks funky. I'm going to clean these bolts up. It's okay to let this set for a little bit. Let that tack up. I'm going to clean these up and then we're going to torque it down. Alright, I had a sneaking suspicion. It's 18 to 20 foot-pounds. It's like 30 seems like a lot. So we'll go 15, 16, 17, 18. Let's go for 19. And you can weigh out the also. I'm first 4. You come up here. 5. And 6. And 7. And 8. We'll go on one more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There we go. Should look pretty nice when I get the valve covers on. I reckon we could probably do that. I'm going to clean up some of this here.
because I don't like how that looks. I suppose I might have put a little too much on there, huh? That's okay. We can wipe her. We can wipe her off a little bit. There, that'll look better. And then, like I said, make sure you don't fill your oil port back here. So we'll take that dab off of there. I'm going to clean my hands up and we'll throw the valve covers on. Get our new gaskets on here. I reckon, oh baby, this thing's going to look nice. I don't know if you guys like black engine with the aluminum intake on it, but I do. I think it looks fantastic. I don't know why I like it. Maybe it's the contrast. But she looks good. And also, we are going to prime this thing really well before we put it in. We're going to have the distributor in it, plugs and wires on it, all the accoutrements, I guess, if you want to call them that. There's the crazy kid. She's down here tonight, bored as usual. Always gives me that look like, Dad, do we have to do this every night of the week? I don't have the shop doors open tonight either. It's kind of chilly and it's Friday night, so it's going to be chaos out there. Woo! And we got a brand new AC Delco water pump too that we'll finish off the front. Looking good, folks. Looking good. Well, good morning. Happy Saturday. We are ripping and tearing this morning. Got the pull plate on the 305. We have some more to do underneath. We got to disconnect the downpipes from the exhaust and undo the motor mounts. Might be easier from down there. I don't know. You can get at them up here too. Got the fuel line and everything obviously off because we have the carb off. We got to disconnect the fuel line here from the pump, and lower rad hose is off. What do you think? Will this little radiator run that motor? Did a little more work to this. Got the fuel pump put on, starters on, water pump and pulley are on, thermostat and housing. Yeah, we're just plugging along. Not doing a ton of recording because this is kind of like the monotonous, boring side of things, and you guys don't want to sit here all afternoon watching me take every nut and bolt of an engine apart. So we're just going to keep on plugging away. We're going to try to clean up some of this stuff that's just kind of hodgepodged everywhere. There's a connector. I guess I can take that off. We got to disconnect the alternator and stuff like that. But we got to get all of our wires cleaned up. We got to get this installed. We'll probably drop our dizzy and stuff before we put that in. I don't think we're going to have any clearance issues, so that should be all right. Heater hoses are disconnected, all that stuff. We'll take our ground off here, and then we're going to have to figure out what to do with our fan setup. It looks like these are studs out of the old water pump, and our water pump has bolts. He was probably running electric fans, if I were to guess. So we'll have to do some swap-a-rooskies on that. And this pulley is obviously different as well. It's a dual pulley. And we've got a single here. So painting that was a waste of time. Yeah, cruising along. We'll get the power steering and stuff, excuse me, off and see if we can get it tossed out of the way and all that jazz. I hadn't looked inside this car for a while, but man, I forget how nice it is. It's just a nice car. Anyway, I'm gonna keep on rolling, and you know, I'll update you as things happen. All right, well, as you can see, she's on her way out. Didn't really take that long, but yeah, we're just kind of cranking her out here. Up a little bit, out a little bit, up a little bit. You know how it twerks. Let's see, maybe if I... There you go, there's a bird's eye view for you. Look at that, would you? Jesus Christ. I was beginning to wonder, I was like, why won't this thing pull? Anyway, up she goes. Let's see what that looks like. There. That should clear. Oh. Sometimes these cherry pickers can be a pain. There. Especially when the steel wheels get stuck on your 1945 shop floor. Anywho, there she is. Let me go grab the engine stand out of the backhoe, the old green bugger out there, and we'll bolt her on that and roll it out of the way. There she is. Had to find some washers. We'll go ahead and fold up the old cherry picker here and roll this engine over in the corner for a rainy day, I reckon. Well, we did some much needed cleanup with the old pressure washer, and we also hit up this engine bay, and as you can see, there's a lot of like primer. I don't exactly know why it's primered or when it was primered, but it's all going to be black again when I'm done and before we put the engine in. All right, I did decide we're going with low gloss, the DE 1634, and as you can see, I have started just kind of test hit to see what it's going to be, and it will obviously not dry as glossy as it is appearing at the moment, but you can clearly see that's going to be much improved over yeah, that white primer crap from, you know, some sort of restoration back in the day, back in her prime. Give you a little asthma. Oh baby. Mm-hmm. Yep, she's gonna look good. I gotta take that coolant tank off and paint that, but anyway, yeah, that to that. All right, well, does anybody want to see what the engine bay now looks like? All right, I'll show you. There she is, all painted up. I did take the motor mounts out, and there's a very specific reason for that. I was gonna put polyurethanes in it, and I got the wrong style. I think these are called the talls. There's two different styles of motor mounts for these, but this is one style. Incorrect. I'm waiting on the correct ones to show up, but this is what the motor mounts look like. And you drill out some rivets on the bottom side here and push that insert out, and you put your new energy suspension polyurethanes in there. Otherwise this engine would be back in by now, but you know, typical Hola project fashion, it's not. Oh, but I mean, that looks pretty good, and that looks pretty good, except for I primed it, and where it was sitting you can see a nice puddle of oil, and it's leaking right here. Let me throw a light on there. You can see a little dribble on the top side of the blue seal, oil pan seal. So I don't know if I gotta take this pan back off, and I don't know, figure out. I don't think it's coming between the pan and the gasket. I think it's coming between the timing cover and the gasket, but only at that bottom corner. And I did use like a sealant, that aviation gasket sealant on the other seal, the other portion of the seal I should say. So yeah, there's really only one place it can be coming from. So I'm gonna roll this thing back over on its head. I drained all the oil back out of it, and take that pan off, I guess, and see if I can figure out where that's coming from. Did drop the distributor, put it in time, cleaned up my plug wires. Oh, what else did I do? I went down and saw Professor Matt. I better adjust this transmission before it falls off the tranny jack. Went down yesterday on Sunday, and we swapped over the tail shaft. So we had to pull the guts completely out of this new transmission and completely out of the other one that's on the floor over there now. But what I can tell you is that this transmission looked really, really nice inside. The clutches were in absolute fantastic shape. It has a Transco manual valve body kit in it, and a lighter, Matt would be able to tell you better. There's a basket in there, a big basket, and the one that's in there has an aftermarket one that's got a bunch of holes knocked out of it to make it lighter. So it's got some goodies in it, and it should shift pretty nice. So I'm gonna adjust that a little bit before it falls off the tranny jack and brakes, and then we're gonna see if we can figure out why this oil pan's leaking. Okay, well, I did find a little piece of dirt right here, but I don't know if that's it. So what I'm gonna do is just lift this one corner, clean the silicone up, and then I'm gonna run a bead of silicone in the timing cover around it and up here in the corner, and put it back together, because nothing was leaking on the backside. And rather than pulling everything completely apart and fighting with it, that's what I'm gonna do. So I'm just gonna clean up the gasket here, clean up this area, and then run a bead and reseal the front of this thing, and then I'll run a small bead on the outside, I guess. You shouldn't have to, but I'm just gonna do real thin. So yeah, anyway, that's my plan of attack. Okay. Okay, now as far as the motor mounts go, when I was referring to these being wrong, or the other ones being wrong, these clamshell style, there's a rivet on each end. As you can see here, I've already drilled this one. And that just comes apart like so. And what you're replacing is this rubber insert. And as you can see, this one's, well, she's just old. So you put your new insert in, and then you would run a zip tie through each one of these holes to hold it together. And then when you bolt it in, it will repinch the new mount. So I'll kind of show you what I'm talking about here. I think this is like a 13/32 drill bit. See if I can do this one-handed anyway. There she is. Then do this side, or finish this side, I shall say. And she comes apart like so. One of these mounts had a ton of play in it. Very loose. You can see right there it's broke. It's cracked. No good. So that's why she's getting new motor mounts. Look at that, we got our new mounts. Woo! So I was just gonna show you this quick. Jesus, what kind of pile is that? When you install these, make sure that your tabs are set the correct way. You know, like this one here will be the driver's side mount. See, the tab is higher on the left than it is on the right, just like the pictorial shows. Let's go right up in here. Yeah, so he's gonna set pretty near like that. So I'm gonna go ahead and try to fight the bolts up through the frame holes here and you know, in through the hole over here by the lower control arm. You can kind of go up through that hole with an extension and a couple wobbles and get them. It's kind of a pain, but it's doable. So I'm gonna fight with this and get these in, and I'll show you what they look like when I'm done. All right, there's the motor mounts down in there with the new inserts in them. And I don't know, I think in my unprofessional opinion, it's probably time to drop this motor in here. I'm gonna have to be conscious of all this, unless I can. Yeah, we'll do that. We'll just throw her up here on the side, because it's got to go around the back side of the engine anyway. So, well, I'm gonna put you guys in time warp, and I'm gonna go ahead and try to get this beautiful engine stuffed in here. well, there she is. Motor mounts are in. Yeah, be sure when you are doing a swap, you're using the right mounts. Both the bolts are in. It's tilted back quite a bit right now because of the no transmission or cross member support on the back. It is not leaning against the distributor, so we are good. Well, look at that. She looks good. Hopefully it runs as good as it looks, right? She'll be a good unit. Oh, she's a little heavier now. I can't quite pull it back in here as easy as I did. But there she is. Okay, well, the saga continues. It is time to get this transmission jammed back up in there and get the cross member, the new one that's, I don't know, buried over in that corner somewhere, for the dual exhaust, and get some of the wiring rerouted back up where it needs to be. And yeah, all the fun stuff. I know you can't see diddly, but that's where we're at. That's what we're gonna work on. And like I said, I'm not gonna record a ton because I am trying to make this, you know, sometime this year get to the point of being able to start this thing up. If it don't happen in this video, it definitely will in the next. So I'm gonna set you guys down. I'm gonna probably throw you in a time loop, maybe put on some tunes, something like that. Throw that up in there. Alright, I got updates. Cross member's in. Not the one that I even bought for the car, but that a buddy had laying around that fits. The only problem is training mount don't line up. So what we might do is cut that off this end and weld it up on this side. And then we can drop our mount right down onto it, and should work out pretty good. Otherwise, tranny bolts are in, torque converter bolts are in. We're in good shape so far. Keep plugging along. All right, folks. Well, we've been hammering away in the shop here. It's Saturday morning, and I got some updates. We're ripping and tearing. We've got the carb on, the coil mounted, the MSD box mounted. We got to run the black and red wires over here to the battery still. We've got the other wiring run inside for the key power and the tack wire. And we've got our tack mounted up there, pretty much out of the way of everything. What else? We got, I don't think I recorded anything about putting the headers in. We got both the headers in. Started putting accessories on, alternator, power steering, loosely through the belt on. We got to get our fan and stuff on and our shroud back on up here. Let me raise her up in the air and I'll show you the bottom side, what we've got rolling under there. Okay, here we are underneath her. It's looking pretty good under here. These headers were a real pain to get in. We've got exhaust installed, and for the cheap Jegs kit, it actually doesn't look bad. It fit pretty well. It comes with the mufflers and all that stuff. Does not come with tips or anything, which is fine. I'll probably just put turn downs for what, you know, on there. But otherwise, yeah, it fit pretty good for the most part. I've got kind of jank hangers on it because I don't like drilling holes in my floors. But, I mean, it's solid. It ain't going nowhere. But yeah, look pretty good. Vacuum line off the vacuum modulator. Our cross member is in. I think the last time I showed, I had purchased this cross member from Jegs, and it is incorrect. It's too short. It won't reach the bolt holes. Luckily, a buddy of mine has a G-body Regal, and he had taken this one out and wasn't using it and didn't need it. So he gave it to me. It's all bolted up. Oh, what else? Trannies in. We fought the polyurethane transmission mount a little bit, just due to the design of it. And this cross member actually is for a 700 R4, but we converted it to a turbo 350 tranny. So yeah, there you go. Making progress. Okay, who likes updates? I do. Here we are. We got all the accessories on. I had to go to the parts store 18 times figure out the length for that belt. Fan and everything's back in, shrouds on. We got radiator hoses to do yet. Really, pretty much everything is hooked up. Spark plugs are in, wires are on. Those were a pain in the butt. I really hate these, so something's going to change with that. We are still waiting on Amazon for a fuel fitting so we can run our fuel up. And actually what I'm doing is I'm going to run AN for everything. There's a filter. We're going to run 6 AN line. I've got fittings over here. I just need the fitting to adapt into the fuel pump down on the block. But yeah. Also, my computer at home died. So it's going to be hard to edit videos. I don't know what happened. I don't know if the graphics card went out of it or what the deal is, but it just, everything powers on, it gives me a black screen. So that's not cool. But yeah, I mean, we're making progress. This is not going to fit with the hood, so that is going to be an issue. I got the power and ground all hooked up. I ran it underneath the shroud and all that over to the battery. That's another thing we got to figure out. We can't get the terminals in underneath the side post. So I'm going to have to get like some adapters or something for those to make that work. What else? Oh, the dipstick tube's finally in. That was an absolute battle. That took half the day. I'm bleeding and my hands are just completely tore up trying to get that in. I think I showed you this. The tack's in. It's really not in a super terrible position, but all the lighting, or not. How about now? Oh, I have the battery unhooked. All the lighting and everything's all hooked up for that, so that's done. Yeah, it looks like a bomb went off in here. As you can see, there's my keystone. Boop. So the upper radiator hoses are kind of dumb. The shape fits okay, but it hits the shroud. So I don't know if I'm gonna have to shorten something to make it work the way it's supposed to. I don't know. I've got 2 of these. Actually, one of them came in the box full of goodies over here. Here's my other one that actually came off the car. But as I'll show you, and put that side on and put this side on. And yeah, it's above the shroud. So the only thing you can kind of do is try to jam it and turn it. I don't remember how it was actually in here before, but it's clearly not the right hose, so I don't know. So anyway, that's your update. It's about 4 o'clock on Saturday. I might have to run to town and get parts and continue on. I was hoping to try to fire this thing today, but we don't have the fuel fitting. I can run barbs, I guess. I've got another barb. I barbed the pump down there. I've got another barb that I can put in here and just run a rubber line just for initial startup. Oh, here's the other thing I gotta fix. The eyelet came off of the alternator wire, so I gotta fix that. So yeah, it's coming. I mean, we're right there. If the guy had the right stuff, we could have it started here in the next hour probably, but yeah, well, such is life. All right, well, the oddsy endsies are complete. It's full of coolant now. It's got tranny fluid in it. It's got engine oil in it. It's got a rubber fuel line coming up because I'm still waiting on the fitting, like I said. The alternator wire is fixed. I ended up using bolts with nuts and kind of rigged this for now. And it's also rigged up here for the brake booster vacuum and PCV. But, you know, who's watching anyway, right? Oops. We'll just leave that right there. This is all wired. Everything should be pretty much ready to go. Boy, this thing was starting to scare me. It took almost 3 gallons of coolant. Passenger floor's not soaked in it. And there's none underneath it. And there's none in the oil. So, those are all positives. Granted, she was absolutely bone dry to start with, so I suppose that could be possible. So here, before too long, we're gonna attempt to start this thing up. Yeah, just double checking that. We're gonna attempt to start this thing up and see what happens. It's either gonna blow up, or it's gonna run, or it's gonna have bearing material in the oil like Cadillac, or, you know, it could be any number of things, who knows. If anybody's never seen one of these, it's called a funnel buddy. It's got a seal in here and an adapter, and then when you're done bleeding your cooling system, you take this and plug the hole, and you can take this bucket up off and not dump coolant everywhere. This needs to be addressed, but for a startup, that's fine. So I'm going to go through and just do a couple last checks, and then open the garage door and see if we can start this thing up. Alright, well, I guess there's no time like the present. This is one of my least favorite things ever to do. I hate starting fresh engine builds. It's a little nerve-wracking. Just a little nerve-wracking. Something ain't happy. I did prime it. Having a hard time cranking. It almost seemed like it wanted to kill the battery pretty quick. And there's something funky with the shifter too. I don't know if it's in gear or not. It must not be, but I can't shift it into a gear. Left freedom ring. Well, fail. Failed attempt number 1. Let me get a battery charger and stuff on it, and we'll try her again. I saw the carb blow some fuel out of it. Alright, let's give her one more shot here. I think we had a stuck float, but we don't have a bunch of fuel in the oil. I don't know if we have spark either. I don't know how these MSD boxes work. Everything's hooked up, but I've never had one, so I have no idea if it works. All right, left freedom ring. We might not be getting any spark. I don't think we're getting any spark. I'm gonna let this battery charge and see if I can't figure out if we have a spark or not. I'm gonna wrap her up for tonight because I'm beat and it's time to have a couple cocktails. We'll get back on her tomorrow. Let the battery charge up and all that good stuff. Okay, well, we're back next morning. I did put a new battery in it, you know, over this direction, with top posts on it and side posts, so I could hook up stuff better for the MSD box. I put a fuel pressure regulator in it. We'll see if that helps our, wait for the loud trucks to drive by. See if that helps our crazy high fuel pressure. Here goes another truck. Just one after another today. And then I did mess with, so this thing does have a neutral safety deal in it, but apparently that will only hinder it from cranking. I don't think that it necessarily shuts spark down, but and then I pulled this apart here for the MSD box and jumpered the 2 terminals with the coil wire and had a spark plug on it, and it's sparking doing that. So I'm not exactly sure if it's just a fuel pressure issue. Way too high of fuel pressure is giving us flooding issues, or what exactly is going on, but we're gonna go ahead and try her again and see what happens. Got the crazy dog down here. What do we got for fuel pressure now? Like 4. So that's much improved. Well, she's definitely popping. Back a little bit more, maybe? So it was off a tooth, that's for sure. We'll go back a little farther with it. Sounds like it's got a miss also, unless that's just the crazy cam. Well, I think we may have found the culprit to why it runs really, really bad. That is terrible. Those are the pickups for that magnetic pickup. Not good. So what I was doing was, I'm just going to throw the HEI back in it and completely bypass this MSD setup for now and see how that works and go from there. But those are not good. Okay, well, it's probably hard to see, but those are all cleaned up. And the inside of the cap is all cleaned up nice. We're going to go ahead and try it again. Like I said, I was going to swap this one in. That's why I took the plug wires and everything with it, because this is a female cap and this one's a male cap. But we're going to give this MSD one more shot. And if it don't work out, then we're going to swap the just the standard old HEI over onto this thing and see what happens. All right, well, I guess it's time to try it again. Pretty sure I've got everything ready to go, hooked up. I guess we'll see what happens. Okay. Oh, let me let the lift the rest of the way down. If this doesn't work, there's probably definitely something screwy in that MSD. Which would be unfortunate because those things are expensive. Oh. All right, here we go. Move the timing a little bit here. I don't remember exactly where I had it. It was close though. It definitely sounds a lot better. Let me take her back just a tinge more. There she goes. She fired and actually ran that time. Holy smokes. She sounds pretty good. Sounds pretty good. Oh, she's rowdy. She is rowdy. While we're getting it closer, I'm really dumb and forgot to plug my brake booster into the back of the carburetor back here. So I had a giant vacuum leak back there. That helped. However, it still will not stay running, and it acts like a vacuum problem. So I'm not exactly sure. Don't you love it when I walk away mid-sentence? Not exactly sure. Let me check these. They're tight. Where are you at? Where are you at? Over here. I don't know. Yeah, I'm not exactly sure what is going on with that. I guess I could pull that off and cap it. But I'm pretty sure I have the vacuum modulator hooked up under there. And cap that, and yeah. I don't know. Let's start her up again, I guess. I'm not exactly sure. Unless there's something on this intake that I'm missing that's not plugged, but it definitely acts like it's got a vacuum leak somewhere. Unless it's this stupid ball thing keeps falling off here because the bracket's broke. But I don't think, like, all this vacuum stuff's not hooked up to nothing. So that wouldn't be it. I need to just eliminate all this crap. I don't have any idea what it's for. Let me fire it up again and see what happens. Yeah, see, and that's just barely touching the throttle, and then it revs up for a long time. I'm not sure what's going on with that. I might have to pull that carb off and figure out if there's something wrong with it, maybe. Or go through it again. I'm pretty sure when I went through it, I mean, it was in good shape. On the inside, I ran it through the ultrasonic cleaner and cleaned it up, but that doesn't mean that there couldn't still be something goofy in it. But all the vacuum ports on it are used, so I don't know. But I'm gonna keep working on it and see what we can figure out. Well, I think we got her. I got an exhaust leak. I can't get her to calm down. I have no idea what the timing is. Oil pressure looks great. Sounds rowdy. She's burping. Oh God, don't make a mess, please. Where's my plug? God damn it. I think she just opened up. What a mess. Too much. Yep, we're leaking exhaust. Oh, there she is. He's back. All right, well there she is. She will not idle below 1,000. That's all right. Wonderful. Okay, we're gonna take it for a quick spin. I don't know how well it's gonna run because that hood is so close to the carb. Might be cutting all the air off to it. We'll see. But I'm gonna set you guys, I don't know where, somewhere. Somewhere. Okay, here we go. Oh, it's a manual valve body. You gotta put her down in first. any fluid. We're making it though. We're just gonna go down to the old barn here just for a quick little maiden voyage. It's so weird having to shift a car with an automatic transmission. We made it. Woo! Oh, can't do that. Gotta go to first. There she is, folks. There she is. That was awesome. That's gonna be a ton of fun. That's gonna be a ton of fun. Well, as always, we're gonna leave her here. Hey, this video actually had an ending. An accomplishment. Can you believe that? I can't. But anyways, like always, we definitely appreciate everybody. Like, share, subscribe, all the fun things. Give us a couple, you know, thumbs ups and whatnot, and you know, that'd be cool. She's a beaut. All right, that's gonna be it. We'll see you in the next one.